Hi students, good morning. Our today's point is radius of gyration, and it is the second physical quantity for the description of rotational motion. So write down first radius of gyration. It is the second physical quantity. Radius of gyration in bracket K. Radius of gyration. And the question will be asked on this point as, write down this question. Define the radius of gyration and give its physical significance. Define. It is also VIMP question. Define a radius of gyration. Define a radius of gyration and give its physical significance and give its physical significance and give its physical significance. This is our question on this point. Define the radius of gyration and give its physical significance. Write down this question first. Let us see first its a definition. After the physical quantity, moment of inertia, this is the quantity which is also related with the mi. So let us see first its a definition. It is a body, and if it is moving about this axis, and suppose that if more mass is at this point, then the radius of gyration of a body about a given axis of rotation is defined as the distance between the axis of rotation and the point at which whole mass of a body can be supposed to be concentrated so as to give same mi as that of the body. That means the mi about this axis and this axis should be same. Then the distance between them is called as a radius of gyration. So write down this definition. The radius of gyration, the radius of gyration of a body, the radius of gyration of a body about a given axis of rotation, about given axis of rotation, given axis of rotation, about given axis of rotation is defined, about given axis of rotation is defined as the distance between, defined as the distance between the axis of, distance between the axis of, write down this definition, distance between the axis of rotation, axis of rotation and the point at which and the point at which hole WHOL and the point at which whole mass of a body whole mass of a body mass of a body and the point at which whole mass of a body can be supposed to be concentrated to be concentrated can be supposed to be concentrated. This is the definition of radius of gyration. Now it's a SI, unit is meter, and the dimensions are m0 L1 T raised to 0. Write down SI unit and dimensions. These are the dimensions, and this is a SI unit. First part of this question is the definition. Now the next point is the physical significance. So write down the next point, physical significance. This is our next point, physical significance. Physical significance. Physical significance. If we are interested only in the distribution of mass from the axis of rotation, suppose that this is an axis of rotation, and where is the mass distributed, close to axis or wide from axis? If you are interested in the distribution of mass, then the mi of a body is expressed as, so write down if we are interested in knowing the distribution of mass of a body if we are interested in knowing the distribution of mass of a body from the axis of rotation, comma, then mi of a body is expressed as write down I is equal to m into k square, is expressed as this, where k is the distance where k is the distance from the axis of rotation at which mass of a body is supposed to be concentrated, at which mass at which mass of a or at which mass capital M of a body capital M of a body can be supposed to be concentrated, and it is called as a radius of gyration, and it is called as a radius of gyration, and it is called as a radius of gyration, and therefore k is equal to square root of I divided by m, and this is the formula for the radius of gyration. And thus the radius of gyration is, this is the main physical significance. Thus radius of gyration is the measure like mi. Radius of gyration is the measure of distribution of mass of a body from the axis, distribution of mass of a body from the axis of rotation, So if the mass is widely distributed, so if mass is widely distributed from the axis of rotation, comma, then k, that is radius of gyration, is more. And if mass is closely distributed, from axis of rotation, write down this, from axis of rotation, then a radius of gyration k is less, comma, then radius of gyration, that is k, is less. This is the physical significance of a radius of gyration.